segment. What's got you really fired up and angry and upset and rolling your eyeballs? Meghan Markle. And sure enough, she never fails to deliver. The second series of her With Love, Meghan is back. And it turns out just when you thought Meghan Markle couldn't get any more annoying, she also likes green smoothies. Meghan,
I put myself last. I know what you're talking about. I last night through 2 episodes of this thing, just to see what
that wasn't in the.
Like.
That's a commitment.
I know. It's on Netflix if you want to go and watch it. She is so fake. Like, she's just terminally fake.
I tried the first series and I think I lasted about, seriously, maybe 7 or 8 minutes, and I thought, I can't do this to myself. Yeah. I'm getting dumber by the second, and I'm going to throw something hard at a very expensive television.
Yeah.
What I'm about to share will change how you see the entire Sussex Hollywood experiment forever. Welcome back, Royal Watchers. Today I have something the palace hoped would stay quiet, but Netflix executives are in full panic mode. The $100 million Archewell deal? It's over. Done. Finished. And the way they're covering it up is absolutely brutal. But here's the thing they don't want you to know. The story they don't want you to know starts in a Netflix boardroom 3 weeks ago. Palace insiders reveal that Ted Sarandos, Netflix's co-CEO, held what executives are privately calling the funeral meeting. Not for a person, but for the most expensive mistake in streaming history. The Sussex deal that was supposed to revolutionize content creation has become a cautionary tale about celebrity contracts gone wrong. What really happened behind closed doors was even more shocking than the public knows. Because while Meghan was busy promoting With Love Season 2 with designer outfits and curated social media posts, Netflix was quietly consulting their legal team about contract termination clauses. The untold truth about this cancellation isn't just about bad ratings or critical reviews. It's about something far more devastating: the complete collapse of trust between Hollywood's biggest platform and the world's most controversial former royal. But that wasn't the whole story. Here's what Netflix doesn't want you to see. Internal documents that leaked to industry insiders show that, with love, Meghan Season 2 achieved what executives are calling historically catastrophic performance metrics. We're talking about numbers so bad they've become legend within Netflix headquarters. The data is absolutely brutal. 78% abandonment rate in the first 15 minutes. Average watch time, 12 minutes out of 45-minute episodes. User ratings averaging 1.2 out of 5 stars across all platforms. 0 appearance in Netflix's top 10-inch any territory worldwide. But here's where it gets worse. Industry sources revealed that focus groups conducted by Netflix showed something unprecedented. Viewers weren't just disliking the show, they were associating the Netflix brand negatively with Meghan's content. One focus group participant reportedly said, "I see her face and I think of fake. I see Netflix and now I think they'll put anything on." The smoking gun? Netflix executives realized they had a toxic asset problem. Not just a bad show, but a reputation liability that was potentially damaging their entire lifestyle content category. And then came the financial wake-up call that changed everything. Palace sources have just confirmed what industry insiders have been whispering about for weeks. While Netflix was internally debating Meghan's future, she was busy destroying her next opportunity with NBC. What nobody realized was happening behind the scenes during the NBC game show negotiations. Sources close to the production reveal that Meghan had secretly filmed a promotional video revealing confidential details about the show format, timing, and her role, all while under strict confidentiality agreements. Her plan? Release the video on Instagram before NBC's official announcement to position herself as the creative force behind the project. The level of professional sabotage was unprecedented. But here's the devastating twist. Her own agent, the person hired to protect her career, discovered the video and immediately contacted NBC executives. Not to cover for Meghan, but to prevent a legal disaster that would destroy their agency's relationship with the network. NBC's response was swift and brutal. The trust was broken. The game show went into development hell, Hollywood speak for career death. And Meghan? She blamed her agent for betrayal and began plotting to fire the very people trying to save her from herself. This wasn't just burning bridges. This was professional arson. The industry reaction has been absolutely savage. What happened next reveals the true power dynamics of Hollywood. Within 48 hours of the NBC incident, every major talent agency in Los Angeles had the same conversation in their executive boardrooms. Meghan Markle had become radioactive. Palace insiders reveal that Creative Artists Agency, one of the most powerful agencies in Hollywood, quietly moved Meghan from their active client list to what they internally call maintenance mode, where careers go to die slowly while maintaining appearances. But the real devastation came from the brand partnerships. Luxury companies that had once competed for her endorsement began what insiders call the Great Distancing. No official announcements, no drama, just quietly removing her from invitation lists and stopping the flow of gifted product. One former partner reportedly told their team, "Association with chaos isn't luxury, it's liability." The charity sector's rebellion was even more brutal. Organizations that had once elevated Meghan's profile began privately admitting she had become more drain than gain. Her demands for custom photographers, revised photo shoots, and content approval were exhausting resources without delivering meaningful results. The final straw? When rumors circulated about her planning a Christmas music special to compete with Princess Catherine's annual concert, even her most loyal non-profit partners started backing away. They couldn't afford to be caught in another Sussex versus royal family media war. Here's what Netflix's internal data actually shows, and why it terrified executives. The financial analysis was devastating. Conservative estimates suggest that the Sussex deal's failure cost Netflix approximately $78 million in wasted production budgets, marketing spend, and opportunity costs from alternative content they could have produced. But the real shock came from the audience research. Netflix discovered that Meghan's content wasn't just failing to find new subscribers, it was actively driving existing subscribers to consider cancellation. Focus groups revealed that younger demographics, Netflix's most valuable segment, viewed Sussex content as cringe and try hard. The brand damage assessment was catastrophic. Netflix's lifestyle content category saw decreased engagement across all programs during With Love promotional periods. Competitor platforms began using Sussex content as a negative comparison point in their own marketing. International markets, particularly the UK, showed significant subscriber dissatisfaction whenever Sussex content was promoted. Industry analysts called it the reverse Midas touch. Everything the Sussex brand touched turned to lead instead of gold. What terrified Netflix most was the velocity of the decline. Unlike typical show failures that fade quietly, Sussex content was becoming actively destructive to the platform's brand equity. And then came the moment that sealed their fate. Palace sources reveal the personal cost has been devastating for Harry. Behind the public facade, insiders describe a marriage under unprecedented strain. Harry, who abandoned royal privilege to support Meghan's Hollywood dreams, now watches those dreams systematically self-destruct through professional incompetence and relationship mismanagement. Sources close to the couple report that Harry has become increasingly isolated, frequently attending events alone while offering vague excuses about Meghan's scheduling conflicts. Industry insiders interpret this as Harry desperately trying to maintain professional relationships that Meghan's behavior has damaged. The financial pressure is immense. Their Montecito lifestyle requires approximately $4 million annually to maintain. But with Netflix income disappearing and new opportunities evaporating, the couple faces a lifestyle reckoning that neither anticipated when they left royal duties. More devastating is Harry's growing realization that his wife's pattern of discarding people who don't serve her narrative might eventually include him. Friends report that he's begun expressing concerns about their children's future, questioning whether constant controversy is the legacy he wants to leave Archie and Lilibet. The isolation is becoming visible. While other celebrity couples navigate Hollywood together, Harry increasingly appears to be managing damage control solo, while Meghan doubles down on strategies that aren't working. What Netflix executives decided in that November boardroom meeting will shock you. The decision wasn't sudden, it was calculated. Netflix had been consulting attorneys for months about contract performance clauses, audience metrics requirements, and brand protection provisions buried in the Archewell agreement. The streaming giant chose a strategy of strategic suffocation rather than dramatic cancellation. No public announcements, no villain narrative, just quietly letting the contract expire without renewal while moving resources to projects that actually deliver audience engagement. Internal communications, according to industry sources, described the approach as surgical extraction, removing the Sussex element without giving them ammunition for victim narratives or legal challenges. The speed of internal reorganization was ruthless. Staff dedicated to Sussex projects were reassigned within 48 hours. Budgets reserved for future seasons were reallocated to an Italian cooking documentary that executives knew would actually find its audience. Most humiliating was the industry silence. When other high-profile projects get cancelled, there's typically industry support, alternative offers, or at least respectful commentary about the work produced. For Meghan, complete radio silence. No solidarity, no new opportunities, no soft landing. The message was clear. Hollywood had collectively decided that association with the Sussex brand was more liability than asset. Now, in fairness, let's examine what Meghan's supporters might argue. Some industry observers suggest that Meghan was simply ahead of her time, that audiences weren't ready for her particular blend of lifestyle content and social consciousness. They point to successful influencers who initially faced criticism before finding their audiences. Others argue that the media scrutiny was disproportionate, that any content she produced would face unfair criticism because of her royal connection and the polarizing nature of her public persona. There's also the argument that Netflix bears responsibility for not providing adequate support or realistic timeline expectations for content development. Some production insiders suggest that the platform expected Sussex content to perform like established reality television without giving it proper promotional support or audience development time. But here's the reality check that industry insiders keep coming back to. Professional competence transcends controversy. Plenty of polarizing figures maintain successful careers by delivering quality content and maintaining professional relationships. The pattern of burned bridges, violated confidentiality agreements, and self-sabotaged opportunities suggests systemic issues beyond media bias or audience prejudice. When your own talent agency quietly demotes you and your own team warns networks about your behavior, the problem isn't external perception, it's professional conduct. So what happens now? The timeline is more shocking than you might expect. Industry sources suggest that Meghan has approximately 6 months before the financial reality becomes undeniable. Without Netflix income, and with no major brand partnerships on the horizon, the Sussex lifestyle becomes mathematically unsustainable. The options available are limited, and none offer the prestige or financial compensation they've become accustomed to. Reality television with lower-tier networks, significant prestige reduction, endorsement deals with secondary brands, fraction of previous earning potential, speaking circuit appearances, limited audience and decreasing fees, publishing deals for memoir content, saturated market, controversial subject. Palace watchers should expect strategic pivots in the coming months. Harry may increasingly distance himself professionally from joint ventures, potentially pursuing individual projects that don't carry Meghan's reputational baggage. The most likely scenario? A gradual retreat from Hollywood visibility, combined with attempts to rebuild credibility through charity work, assuming charitable organizations remain willing to associate with the Sussex brand. There's also speculation about a potential return to UK-based activities, though royal sources suggest that Bridge was thoroughly burned and reconstruction would require acknowledgements of past mistakes that seem unlikely given established patterns of behavior. The next major indicator will be their 2025 tax filings, which will reveal whether they're maintaining their current lifestyle through savings depletion or have found alternative income sources that haven't been publicly disclosed. The story they don't want you to know, ultimately, isn't about Netflix, NBC, or Hollywood politics. What really happened behind closed doors was a masterclass in how not to manage a career transition. Meghan and Harry entered the entertainment industry with unprecedented advantages: global recognition, royal mystique, unlimited initial media interest, and access to top-tier professionals. The untold truth about their failure is that it wasn't inevitable. With proper professional conduct, realistic expectations, and collaborative approaches, their content could have found sustainable audiences and built lasting industry relationships. Instead, they demonstrated a pattern of behavior that Hollywood simply cannot accommodate: confidentiality violations, creative control obsessions, feedback resistance, and relationship management failures. The palace sources reveal that this outcome was predicted by royal communications experts who understood that Meghan's approach to public relations worked within the structured, hierarchical royal system, but would fail catastrophically in Hollywood's collaborative, relationship-dependent environment. Palace insiders reveal the ultimate irony. By leaving the royal family to escape institutional constraints, they entered an industry with even more complex relationship requirements and professional standards they consistently failed to meet. The most devastating truth: this didn't have to happen. With humility, professionalism, and genuine collaboration, their story could have been one of successful reinvention rather than systematic self-sabotage. If you want to stay ahead of the royal revelations, hit that subscribe button, because some stories are too important to miss. The question now is, what happens when the money runs out and the options disappear? Will we see a dramatic pivot, a quiet retreat, or continued doubling down on strategies that aren't working? Leave your prediction in the comments. Type retreat if you think they'll quietly exit Hollywood. Type pivot if you think they'll try reality television or secondary platforms. Type double down if you think they'll keep pursuing A-list opportunities. Tomorrow, I'll be covering the royal family's internal reaction to this Hollywood collapse and why palace sources say they're not surprised but deeply saddened by how it unfolded. Click here to watch Palace Reekts, how the royal family really feels about the Sussex Hollywood disaster, because the inside story of their response will absolutely shock you. Something big is coming tomorrow. Those who know, know.